Hi everybody, welcome back to Q&A week. Today is question 4, which is brought to us by our awesome community member, Erin. She is tagged in this post for everybody who's watching on the Facebook Live, and you can contact her right there. And she has been thinking about starting a podcast. She's thinking about the nutrition field. And her question was, hey, listen, I want to start a podcast. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I want to know what is the thing that I should be starting with. Like, what is it? What is going to get me the biggest bang for the buck, right? What is going to get me there faster? What is the thing that I need to start doing right now? And when I asked her, well, what do you think your first step needs to be? And she's like, well, I think I should probably start a Facebook page because it's a little bit easier than a podcast. And I'm like, okay. How about I just get on question 4 and I answer this for you guys. And by the way, I want to thank everybody who contributed to letting me know that this is a question you wanted me to do for question 4. I went on the Facebook group and I added a poll and I said, okay, these are the 3 questions that I have in the docket. Which one do you want me to expand at length? And the rest I will tackle on Friday on question 5. And you're like, oh, you guys, like, I love this question. I'm like, okay, wonderful. Thanks everybody who contributed to letting me know that this is what you want me to talk about today. What is the best way to start your business online? Meaning, which areas of focus would cause the biggest impact in the least amount of time. So before I actually came in here and I sat down to actually record this, I wrote down a few notes for myself and I split it up into 3 steps, okay? And I just remember one step that is actually crucial for this. So I'm going to add it as step number 4. I don't really like the number 4, like it's way too even for the number of steps, but it is what it is. I'm going to give you 4 steps, okay, to start your business now with the biggest bang for the buck. So you're not spinning your wheels for the next year trying to get something off the ground, so you can start actually doing this now, okay? So I'm going to give you a little brief disclaimer. This is especially for Erin because Erin let me know that she wanted to start a podcast. She wants to get a message out, but she doesn't really know exactly when she's going to be starting her business, right? She's like, well, eventually I would start doing coaching or something like that. I want to give you guys a disclaimer that in this question, I'm focusing on business. I'm assuming that all of you guys out there want to start a business and that's why you're doing this. This is not for a hobby. This is not just for fun. This is for starting a business. Okay, so all of my advice is going to be towards getting you the biggest bang for the buck, getting you there the fastest with your business, getting you to start to make money, getting you to start to have a really, really good message out there. I see Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you. And I see Erin. Erin says, I won again. The reason Erin just said, I won again, it's very apropos. So I'm going to fill you in on this little inside joke here, is that last time that I ran a master class, right? It was about how to start a business in a saturated market. I raffled out a podcasting microphone and Erin was the winner of it. And I was super happy with this because I actually met her through my podcasting classes, the podcasting classes that I was telling you about yesterday, that I go out in my town and I teach about this and I talk about this, and that's how I got clients. You guys, that's how I met Erin. And it was so appropriate that she'd be the one to win this podcasting microphone. So I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. Turns out that microphone that I gave Erin, that's one of 2 that I bought when I first started my podcast back in 2012. And I bought 2 of those microphones, which are still, by the way, they're still good, like very, very barely used, because I was doing interviews. So I would carry 2 laptops with me to record 2 different sounds on 2 different microphones. And those are the microphones that I use. So I gave one to Erin in the last raffle. Congratulations, Erin. So that's why she says I won again, because her question won the poll, right? So she's just been a winner in this group. And Rebecca says, how awesome. Congrats, Erin. Rebecca, yeah, I'm glad that you caught me live. So make sure to interact, okay? Like, leave me questions. If I say anything that is not super clear, call me on it. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing tomorrow. That second microphone is still up for grabs. So how do you get your hands on this microphone? All you have to do is show up live to question 5 to be entered into the raffle. And the raffle happens live. Okay, so you have to stay through the end of the live for the raffle to take in. Okay, I'm going to be taking a roster of people who are actually there, and I'm going to do my random raffle number generator so that we can assign a winner right there, and you will go home with a podcasting microphone that has been barely used. Okay, free microphone. Who doesn't want a free microphone? Okay, so, and by the way, it's not just for podcasting. You can use it to do lives. You can use it to do stuff like this. And by the way, on the live, you're not hearing me through the microphone. So you're not really getting the representation of what the microphone sounds like. This is for the podcast. Okay, I'm recording this in 2 different places. Okay, so that's what's happening tomorrow. Question 5, microphone raffle, be there or be square. And I'm going to do it, by the way, so you guys can mark your calendars right now. I'm going to go live at 10 in the morning. Okay, tomorrow, 10 in the morning. Okay, let's get the show on the road. First of all, I should let you know that my program is starting in January. You know, I gotta do this. I gotta tell you this so that in case you don't know. My program is leaving the station in January, and you have until December 31st to apply. My program is called Be Found, and we're going to get you to have a really solid message, figure out who it is that you're helping, do all that market research, get your online presence set up, and I'm gonna make your website. By the end of March, you're going to have an online presence that rivals all of the others, and you're gonna be able to just go off and start to get clients and replace your salary next year. Okay, that's what 2020 is waiting for you to do. And that's the first 3 months of your business right there in my Be Found program. To apply, go to inacoveney.com/apply. But you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in EY. Okay, so why don't we get started about these things? We have 4 tips to tell you about what makes the biggest bang for the buck. Like I said, these are business tips. Okay, this is to start your business. Why don't we start with number 1, which is find someone to help, right? I've told you the story many times of when I started my side business making websites, and I went down to my local diner and I said, I'll make your website for free. Now, I tell my clients to do this, and it does a couple things. Number 1, it gets you actually using those skills and having something in your portfolio, right? It gets you a good testimonial, and it gets you practicing for what it would be like to do this as a business. The reason we do it for free is so that you don't get hung up on the sales part of it. Because as you start down the path of being a business owner, you're going to learn more and more about sales and get better and better with sales and promotions and all that stuff. So if I want you to start with step 1, which is to help someone, I don't want you to be hung up by by all your money mindset issues, by the fact that, oh my God, are people going to pay for this? Would people really pay this much for it? How much do I price it for? So you know what? Tomorrow for question 5, I'll talk to you about pricing. All right. But step 1 is just start. So start with something that you love to do, that you could talk about for ages, that you feel like it's so easy. You're probably going to help people do it over the next year without charging them anyway. It's something that you would just naturally go and do. So think about that and just actually get into action. So listen to question 3. Listen to the last episode, episode 72 of the podcast. Listen to it for how to really start to grow your audience. We're going to get into that a little bit more in step 3. But step 1 is to actually convince yourself that you have something to sell. So what is that thing? Don't do like a whole year or 6-month deal to start, right? Do it on a very limited basis, because you want to start charging for this and you don't want all your time to go to this wonderful free client that you have, okay? 4 weeks should be the most that you're spending on this free client to get the testimonial or to get that thing in your portfolio, okay? So spend the next 4 weeks helping someone, period, all right? Number 2, market research. Okay, so, and by the way, I didn't put the cart before the horse here. I could have said, hey, do your market research first and then go out and help. No. Right now, you already have an idea for your business. You already know kind of what you would do. I say put that into practice now. That's why step 1 is just go out and do it. Go out and do it. Then you will learn from it. Okay, you will actually see what it's like to put yourself out there with a business and help someone with something. Okay, that's all practice. Next comes your market research. And I don't want you to get bogged down by this. That's why I didn't put it as step 1. Okay, do step 1 first, and then step 2 is doing your market research. Okay, do it at the same time that you're helping this wonderful free client. Okay, your market research. What is market research? I will get into this in question 5. Okay, question 5 tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about market research, pricing yourself, all that stuff. But today, I just want you to know that you need to find out what is it that people need from you. So you need to go out and actually talk to people and find out, okay, have you ever paid for this before? How much did you pay for it? What did you get out of it? What was the great thing about it? What was the crappy thing about it? Right? Are there any other people out there who are doing what you do? How do they do it? How do they put themselves out there? What do they price? What do their packages look like? You need to find out where you stand in this market. Okay? And the more people you find who do that thing that you want to do, the better. Okay? Find people who are super successful. Find people who are just starting out and see what they're doing right. The people who are super successful, sometimes it can get a little bit discouraging if you're thinking of comparing yourself to where they are right now. So don't. I want you to compare yourself to where they started. So go back. The beauty of the internet is that you can go back in time. You can go back and see where their first posts were. Right? Like, what were they about? You can go back and see which podcast they were featured on years ago. You can just find their name on a podcast app. You can go to their Instagram account and find their very first post when their business was just starting out. What were they talking about? Right? So compare yourself to the beginning stages of the super successful, and then find peers, other people who are doing the same thing, and learn from what they do, from their mistakes, from what is making everything work. So you got to know where you stand. Just remember that it's not about competition, okay? Just because there's somebody out there, in fact, the fact that there is somebody else out there doing what you do means that there's a market for it. So this is really good proof that you're on the right track. If it starts to make you feel like, oh my God, there's so many other people doing this and the market is saturated, right? That's when you go back and think, wait a minute. Remember that there's a lot of people out there who have no idea that those people exist. Okay? And that's your market. That's where you're going to go in and excel, to put yourself in front of people that have never heard of your competition. There's plenty of people in the world. This is possible no matter how many people are out there doing what you do. Step 3. We're breezing through these, guys. Step 3. Start with that online presence. Okay? Listen to episode 72 to find out like how to actually grow your audience. But the point of step 3 is to talk about the stuff that you love to talk about. Okay? So go on, get yourself a Facebook group or a Facebook page or whatever it is. Start to go live. Video is huge right now. Most people that are consuming media are consuming it via video. So find out how other video makers are doing it and start to mimic some stuff. Start to get yourself out there. Is it a YouTube channel? Is it through Facebook Lives? Start to put yourself out on video, or just start posting. If video is too high and too tall an order for you, if you're thinking that, you know what, I really need to build a lot of confidence in order to get on video, then don't do video yet. But start by putting your message out there in whatever way, shape, or form that means to you. It could be Facebook posts, just saying something that you really want your audience to know, or that you really feel like is going to be helpful to them. Now, because you did step 1 and you actually helped someone, you can just picture that person in your mind when you're writing your post, and imagine that you're writing a personal message to that person, okay? And telling them, hey, I know that you wanted to know about how to eat healthier, right? I want you to know that it doesn't have to be that hard. All it takes is really double down in your vegetables, or make sure you have at least one vegetable. It doesn't have to be a half a plate. It can just be one thing. I'm not a nutritionist. That's the best I can come up with for nutrition advice. But every day, go out and talk about your message. Get yourself a Facebook page with a fancy name that people are going to relate to, right? Your Facebook page is not going to be Ina Coveney, right? It's not going to be your name. Your Facebook page is going to be nutrition for the busy people, nutrition for busy women, or eating healthy for busy women, whatever that title is, something people are going to relate to, and just start putting your message out there. And then follow all the steps from episode 72 to actually grow that audience using that message. But you got to be able to talk about these things at length, to talk about it all the time, and to come up with different spins for it and different ways to say it, to put out your freebies, everything we talked about yesterday. That's step 3, is to really start to grow the audience just by putting yourself out there. Step 4, which I added as I was starting this podcast, right? Step 4 is to actually go out there and get to meet other people who have complementary services or who do what you do. Expand your entrepreneurial universe. You know what is going to get you nowhere fast? Going directly, with the theme of this question, is like what's going to give you the biggest bang for the buck is to have a community of people who do this, people you can bounce ideas off of, right? And like always, because every single one of my steps ends with this because it's important, because this is how I did it and this is how all other successful people have done it, is you need to get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor, get yourself somebody who has been there, who knows what to do, who will tell you, hey, 1, 2, 3, this is what you're going to do now based on your particular situation. Because you guys may think that I'm doing coaching right now, but I'm really not. If I were talking to Aaron face to face, I would not be talking so much. I would be asking a lot of questions. Okay, what is it that you love to do? Where are you in this? When do you really want to start? Who are the people that you really want to talk to? Have you really thought about that? Have you really thought that through? I would be asking her so many questions so that I can see how I can really help her. So listening to this stuff live, it's nice and it's giving you some information that you will need. And some people will go off and do it on their own. But I assure you, even people who go off and do it on their own end up hiring someone to guide them, to show them the way, because you will need that kind of help if you actually want to do this fast. So the spirit of Erin's question today was, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to spend the next 6 months spinning my wheels and just following people's advice online and then having nothing to show for it, right? So Erin and I met a few months ago. Okay, not to put you on the spot, Erin. But if Erin and I had started working together back then, not that she was ready. This is not about Erin. This is about you who are watching this, who's ready for this, right? You can go off and continue to try to piece things together. Or you could hire somebody like joining my program in January. And by March, you will have all the stuff figured out, right? There's no more wasting time when you're working with someone who knows how to get you there. So step 4 is really that, is building your network, right? Which a group program is awesome at doing. You guys have heard me talk about my friend Riva. Possibly in every single one of these questions, I've mentioned Riva's name. And it's not just because I made her website, right? rivawellness.com. It's not just because of that, but because now we are trading services. She's somebody that I go and I send a message to when things are not going well. I go and I message Riva. And we talk about things. We lift each other up. You guys have seen me featured my branding specialist, Tiffany Newman. She's somebody else that we bounce ideas off of. And hey, I'm feeling so overwhelmed because it's the holidays and I'm hosting Christmas Eve this year and I haven't even started. Yesterday I was frantically trying to decorate the house, right? And my mantle still looks terrible. Right? There's people coming to my house, but I still have this promotion to do. I still have work to do. So yesterday I logged into my mastermind group, the one that I'm a member of because I get coaching myself. And I said, you guys, I don't have time to do anything. And guess what? My coach gave me really solid advice. It wasn't like, well, okay, then I guess you're going to give up for the year. It was like, no, okay, with the time that you have, these are the things you're going to do. And I'm like, thank you, right? So coaching really gets you a long way because it gets you there faster. So going back to the spirit of this question, how do you not waste your time? Join my program. Get yourself some help. Okay? Get yourself in a group. I met Riva in a group mastermind. She was one of the attendees. She was one of the participants as I was. And we struck a friendship, and that's my network, the people that I meet through these programs. So that's why this program in January is not a one-on-one. It is a group program, so you can start to really build that network. Okay. So, and in case I haven't said it in this message yet, December 31st is the deadline to apply, and there's no extensions. Go to inacoveney.com/apply to get you in there. So that is basically the 4 steps. If you guys really wanted to know how to get this done fast, that is how. To recap it, step 1, go out and help someone. Really get a taste for what having your business really feels like. That's step 1. Step 2, do your market research. Who needs you and for what? And how much would they pay for it? And who else is doing this out there? What is your position in the market? Number 3, go and talk about what you love to talk about. If this is your passion, if this is what you love to do, talk about it. And follow all the steps from episode 72 to start building your audience. Step 4, get yourself into a group program so you can start meeting other entrepreneurs who are doing the same thing. Get yourself a coach. Join the Be Found program, whatever that shape that takes. You gotta start to get mentors. Otherwise, it's really going to feel like a very lonely endeavor where you're not meeting other people, where you are not advancing any because it's just you. And it's, you know what's really easy? To give up when it's just you. You know what's really hard? To give up when you're going in a group, in a class, right? When you're following somebody's steps, that's a lot harder to quit. And that's why this gets you the best bang for your buck. So that 6 months from now, Erin is not asking the same question, but how do I get started? She can just start now and be done with her online presence by March. So Rebecca says, I need to do the market research. I talk about it, but feel like people want me to do it for free. So Rebecca, I want you to dissect that last statement that you had there. You feel like people want you to do it for free. Number 1, how do I challenge this? Because you don't know how people feel. You feel that you should be doing it for free. Why? Ask yourself that question. There's many other people charging for what it is that you want to do. By the way, you can tell me right there in the comments, like, what is it that you do? Okay? But you are the one that wants to do it for free. Why? When people are out there charging, you want to do it for free. That speaks more about you than about what people, like your potential clients, really feel like you should be doing. You see what I mean? All those people who you feel like want you to do it for free are going to turn around and pay for it to somebody else. So there's no such thing as people will never work with you unless it's free. No such thing. You're doing that to yourself in your own head. The way to cure that is to do your market research, is to find out who else is doing this out there and getting paid for it. Okay? So really think about that one, Rebecca. So you guys, I have a meeting that starts in 1 minute, so I gotta get going. But I really hope this was helpful. If you want to get in there for the microphone raffle, this is happening, guys. So question 5 is going to be all about the market research, pricing yourself, like how much should you expect to pay for coaching. We're going to talk about all of that on question 5. That's tomorrow at 10 in the morning. I will see you here in the Facebook group, 10 in the morning Eastern time, live. See you there, and we'll talk more about this. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Erin, for being here live. And you guys on the podcast, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Yay, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Click right here and check out the podcast Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life. I'll see you there.